Hey friends, and welcome back to Sewing from Scratch. I am Kate and this is where I teach you everything I know about sewing and we learn more together along the way. So today's video is a kind of a fun little roundup of 13, actually it's more than 13, but we're calling it 13 fun scrap busting ideas that you can use to give as gifts. Birthday gifts or baby gifts or Christmas gifts, it's coming. You will be covered on using up some of your scrap fabrics to make beautiful creations for the loved ones in your life. I realize it's a little early for Christmas, but I mean, we gotta start thinking about things, especially if we're making them. You might have a big list, you might need to start now. So watch this video, write down the ones you like, and then make sure you check out the videos for the tutorials so that you can either save them or share them somewhere so that you can watch them again when it's time for you to start making. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing, and probably a really common thing if you are a garment maker, it's on your mind a lot, you see patterns for them, is Barbie clothes or larger doll clothes. I personally have been dreading the moment where my daughter asks to make Barbie clothes because I just don't have the patience and all that little fiddly work is just not my style. But she has started asking, we have started making. I still haven't printed out any patterns or anything. She just likes to kind of cut the fabric right now, but it is on my plan to just spend one day with her and make a schwack of Barbie clothes, and she would just love to do that. She is loving to learn to sew, and yeah, so Barbie clothes and doll clothes. My aunt actually gifted my daughter a whole bunch of little Barbie clothes that were handmade by someone in her community. The detail on them is just gorgeous. So I think that with something so small, you can put a lot more detail and like finesse maybe, or make fancier things because it's only this big, you know what I mean? So yeah, Barbie clothes and doll clothes. I will link some patterns down below in the description box if you're looking to sew up some of these for a gift this year. Scrap buster number 2 is scratch mitts and newborn hats. So this is perfect for that new mom expecting her first little baby or more. You know the drill. When someone's having a baby, you gotta buy and make all the baby things. So I do actually have a tutorial for the scratch mitts and the newborn hat that I will link below. The thumbnail looks like this, so you can check it out on my channel. These are really quick and easy to make, and they really are just so adorable with the little knot in the top of the hat. Okay, the next thing you can do with your scraps if you want to use them for a gift is to make a color block garment. So in this example here of my Banff sweater, I used some scrap pieces that I had laying around to make the mountain there. It doesn't even have to be this pattern. Just make something with a little bit of extra beauty to it and it will be much appreciated. Of course, this pattern will be linked below, just like everything else I'm talking about. Next up on the scrap buster gift list is slippers or booties. I have made quite a few of these. I'll pop in some pictures for you guys, but they are so cute. I have made these to sell and they go over really well, especially the animal ones. They are just so freaking cute. Any recipient would be so happy to receive this. The next scrap buster is a super popular one, and that is scrunchies. There are quite a few different ways to make them. I use the Melissa Sews or Melly Sews magic tube idea. So I will link that down below if that makes sense to you. These do actually use a surprising amount of fabric, so just keep that in mind when you're picking out which scraps you want to use for your scrunchie gifts this year. Scrap buster number 6 is actually just a grouping, and that is items for your sewing room. This can be anything from pin cushions to hanging organizers or organizers that you hang on your machine or on your ironing board or on your table, or it can even be little fabric bins. I've seen some really great tutorials for that and I will link them down below. Before I get into scrap buster number 7, why don't you take a second and hit that subscription button if you haven't already. There is a large large number of viewers who are not subscribed to my channel. It really helps me out when you do hit that subscription button. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because there are loads of great videos coming up this fall. So scrap buster idea number 7 is a heat bag or a wheat bag or a rice bag or a magic bag, whatever you want to call it. I have a tutorial here on my YouTube channel that will be linked below for you guys of how to make these microwavable bags that are great for sore muscles or just something a little cozy and extra for your kid to sleep with if they're looking for that little bit of extra comfort. The next scrap buster idea I want to talk about that you can use to give as gifts is headbands. Now I have 2 ideas here that I'm going to show you. I have tutorials for both of these. So this is the elastic back headband here. It's nice wide fabric in the front, and then the back has a little bit of elastic to keep it on your head. Super comfortable and cute, and you can find it in this video. The next one is this kind of a funny looking headband here that can be worn a couple different ways, and you can find the tutorial for this one in this video. And the third headband that I'm going to talk about is more for little girls, and that one is I do not have a video for. I will link the pattern and the tutorial for that down in the description box as well. Okay, the next scrap buster idea that you can give as gifts this year is a little zip pouch or a snack pouch or any kind of little pouch. I do have a tutorial for a zip pouch here on my YouTube channel, and you can find it right here in the cards. These are super versatile and can be used for anything from cosmetics to little toys to pencil crayons to whatever you like, and there's really no dimensions that you need to stick to, so go ahead, make it as small or as big as you want. Get super creative, use up those scraps, and make a really thoughtful gift for that person on your list. Scrap buster idea number 10 is facial rounds, and these are really great to give to a teenager or any type of woman, whether they wear makeup or not. And they're just really fun and luxurious to wash your face with. It makes it just a little more special that morning or bedtime routine. I do not have a tutorial for these because they are so simple. You just take a piece of cotton fabric. I like to use cotton lycra, but 100% quilting cotton or something like that, nice and soft, would be good as well. And then I use a terry cloth on the back. You can even upcycle if you'd like to do something like that. And I just make a circle the size I want and then serge the 2 pieces together. Make it a little set of 4 and tie them together and you're done. It's that simple. And hey, if you haven't heard of Shelf Sewing September yet, go on down to the description box below. I'm gonna leave a link there. There is one last prize giveaway for you to enter and you're not gonna wanna miss it. So check out that link, head over to Instagram, make a post, and you're entered. It's that easy. All right, scrap buster idea number 11 is little bean bags. I use these for my kids to play beanbag toss or just to kind of explore with and use them to dump or scoop or throw or whatever. I filled mine with fabric scraps, but you could absolutely use something like beans or rice if you want that extra weight in them. There's also a tutorial for this one on my YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out at the end of this video. The next scrap buster idea is for anybody and everybody, and that is underwear. Whether this is for you or your kids or your grandmother, whatever, there are loads of different underwear patterns out there, and I will link some down below in the description box that I have personally tried. And the last scrap buster idea that I'm going to share with you that you can use to give as gifts this year is coasters. I know this doesn't sound very fun and exciting, but you can make them really fun and exciting. So throw in some pattern or some angled cuts and do some quilting. Whatever your creative heart comes up with will be beautiful, and your recipient is going to love it. So let your beautiful mind do its work and create something amazing right now. So thank you so much for watching this video. It really does help, especially staying to the end. I so much appreciate it. And if you have not hit that subscribe button yet, please go ahead and do that right now so that you don't miss future videos, because if you're here now, I want to see you next time too. Thanks again, and let's get into a quick PS with Kate. My family, I grew up growing animals to eat. We grew up on an acreage. My dad always had some sort of meat livestock, and it was just part of growing up, part of learning, part of being in the family and learning the facts of life. And I don't see anything wrong with that. We knew where our food came from, and now that we have our own kids, it is, I mean, like that's how we plan to raise them too, even though we live in town. So we were out butchering this morning. My mom in the days leading up to this was like, oh, I don't know if you want to bring the kids. Our kids are 3 and 4, almost 3 and 4. And like, I don't know if they need to see this and blah, blah, blah. My husband and I were like, why not? You know, it's just something that's going to be around in their lives. Nothing that should be shied away from. We want them to know the truth in everything. Not that we're going to, you know, go into all the gruesome details about everything in the world, but butchering and respecting an animal and realizing its sacrifice for us is important to their upbringing, I guess. And, you know, my husband and I, we both saw it growing up, so that's what we know. We don't think there's anything wrong with that, so that's why we do that. But what I'm getting at is we just kind of raise our kids with this like eyes open type of view. We definitely like to protect their innocence in a lot of ways, but we also are very, very adamant that we will not lie to our kids. If they ask us a tough question, we're gonna answer that question. We might not answer it to the full extent that you would, you know, discuss with an adult, but we do our best to answer, to satisfy their curiosity with the truth. So my mom was all concerned about the kids being there. My husband and I weren't concerned. My dad wasn't really concerned because, you know, we grew up with it too, and he would have grown up with it too. And so anyway, I went out early in the morning to help, and then my husband was gonna bring the kids later. So that's what happened. You know, we were kind of like, oh, what are they gonna do when they come? And I don't know if they need to see all of the stuff and all of these questions. Well, they got there. My daughter walked into the facility, and she like put her, I can't remember if it was her toque or her sweater. She put something, I think it was her toque. She put her toque over her nose, and she was like disgusted. And of course she said, well, it stinks in here. And then she went out, and that was the end of it. And she didn't ask any questions, and she is definitely our questioner. She loves to know all the things. And they just ran around and played. So my point that I'm making with all this is sometimes as parents, we worry for absolutely nothing. Probably more times than not, we worry for nothing. And I think kids, if they want to know something, that's great. But and absolutely, other kids might have been right in there wondering what was going on. Maybe our kids are just a little bit younger than, I don't know. They know what happens. We told them what happens. They saw the naked birds there. They get it, that we're gonna eat them. She did ask me, does it hurt? And you know, I had to kind of try and answer that like they don't really feel any pain the way that we process the birds. We try to teach them respect to nature and respect to animals, so that was kind of the forefront of our teaching all the time. So of course she was concerned if the animal was being hurt, and as part of anyone who raises livestock with integrity and with care, the goal is never ever to harm the animal. You always want to be respectful, and you always want to you know, realize your blessings, and that animal is giving its life so that you can eat. And the same thing with a lot of hunters. So that's kind of where we stand on that. I'm not talking about that. There are loads of videos you can watch all about, you know, sustainability and hunters who really do respect the environment and the animals themselves and all of that stuff. But what I'm getting at is the parenting angle of this is that, you know, we spend time wondering, oh, what are they gonna do? And maybe even, my husband and I didn't worry about this. This was not a worry of ours. We just had like a 1-minute conversation about it. But other parents might, right? Worry about something like this or something else, something totally bigger, right? And then the kids just show that how like resilient and surprising they can be. So I just kind of, I guess that is the point I'm trying to make, is that you can't control everything. And of course there's times where you're going to want to control things, and absolutely as parents we need to do that too. But just don't get too hung up on it. If it's something you can't control, maybe try and look at the positives of it, or something along the lines of, okay, I can't control this, but maybe I can control this part of it, and then maybe that'll ease some of your parenting anxiety. Maybe that's kind of always the goal, right? Is to not be too anxious of a parent, or like a helicopter parent or anything like that. So that is my point after all this rambling, telling you that we eat turkeys and hunt and all of this. My point is, don't worry so much as a parent about the things that you can't control. Just try to do your best on the things that you can, and your kids are going to grow up just fine because you love them. And that is really the main goal, right? Is to love your children and bring them up in a way where you feel you are doing your best. And that's really all we can do, right? Is our best. So thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great week. Bye!